Once upon a time in the small town of Machido, a boy named Daniel lived with his mother, Stella, and two sisters. Daniel was known throughout the community for his remarkable intelligence. Even as a child, his curious nature and quick grasp of concepts left his teachers and peers in awe. Teachers marveled at his ability to solve complex problems, and his classmates often sought his help with their homework. Despite his intelligence, Daniel's life was not without its challenges. Stella was a single mother, working tirelessly as a cashier, often taking double shifts to make ends meet. She dreamed of a bright future for Daniel, one where his talents would lead him to a successful and fulfilling life. Every night, after long hours at work, Stella would sit with Daniel, helping him with his studies and encouraging him to aim high. "You have a gift, Daniel," she would say, her eyes filled with hope.
Use it wisely and you can achieve anything.
As Daniel grew older, his reputation for intelligence spread beyond his school. It seemed like Daniel's path to success was paved with gold. He began participating in regional science fairs and math competitions, often returning home with trophies and awards. Colleges and universities took notice, and soon letters of interest from prestigious institutions started arriving in their mailbox. Daniel's path to success was paved with gold. However, despite his brilliance, Daniel's life was not without its challenges. Despite their humble circumstances, Daniel was content and focused. He won scholarships, aced exams, and was accepted into one of the most prestigious universities in the country. Stella's heart swelled with pride as she sent him off to college, believing that this was the start of a new chapter filled with success and opportunities. At university, Daniel excelled initially. He was at the top of his class, gaining recognition from professors and peers alike. However, amidst the pressures of academic life and the newfound freedom from his small-town upbringing, Daniel began to seek out ways to unwind. It started innocently enough, a small bet here, a friendly wager there. But soon, the thrill of gambling quickly took hold of him. What began as harmless fun soon turned into a dangerous habit. Daniel started visiting local gambling dens, placing bets on horse races, sports events, and even virtual games. The thrill of gambling became an obsession, and he started to spend more and more time gambling. At first, he managed to keep it a secret, using his winnings to cover any losses and continuing to perform well in his studies. But as his addiction grew, so did his losses. He began missing classes and his grades started to slip. Stella noticed the change in Daniel during his visits home. He seemed distracted, less engaged, and more anxious. She attributed it to the stresses of university life, never imagining the true extent of his troubles. Daniel, too ashamed to admit his addiction, assured her that everything was fine. As semesters passed, Daniel's situation worsened. He maxed out his monthly allowances, borrowed money from friends, and even took out loans under false pretenses to feed his gambling habit. Eventually, the university caught wind of his erratic behavior and poor academic performance. Daniel was put on academic probation and later, despite numerous warnings and opportunities to rectify his situation, he was expelled. The news hit Stella like a tidal wave. Her dreams for Daniel, her sacrifices and her hopes all seemed to crumble in an instant. She had worked so hard to provide for Daniel, sacrificing her own needs and dreams for his sake. Daniel returned to Machido, a shadow of his former self. He was consumed with guilt and regret, unable to face his mother, or the community that once believed in him. Back in Machido, Daniel struggled to find work. His reputation as a once promising student now tarnished. Opportunities were scarce. He took up odd jobs to pay off his debts and slowly began to rebuild his life. The road to recovery was long and arduous, filled with moments of relapse and despair. But with the support of Stella and the community, who despite their disappointment still cared for him, Daniel started to mend his ways. It was a long and arduous journey, filled with setbacks and challenges, but Daniel was resolute. He knew he had to change not just for himself, but for his mother, who had sacrificed so much for him. Though Daniel never achieved the academic greatness once expected of him, he found a different kind of success. He learned the value of resilience, the importance of honesty, and the strength of community. Stella, though heartbroken by the detour in his journey, stood by him, proud of the man he had become despite the odds. Daniel's story became a cautionary tale in Machido, a reminder of the dangers of addiction and the importance of making wise choices. And though his path to success was marred by mistakes, he ultimately found redemption and carved out a path that, in its own way, was equally valuable and inspiring.